Welcome to episode 2 of my UFO UAP tech evaluation. Today we're going to look at two videos, the two saucers and the Vanishing Light. Now, at first glance, the two saucers videos seems far more impressive, but I think you're going to find my analysis of the Vanishing Light potentially shocking. I want to share some general info before we dig into any details. This two saucers video has a title, Spotted 2 UAPs being followed closely by F-22 fighter jets. Alright, well, this video had 5.5 million views in 90 days. I mean, if their videos weren't monetized, I'm guessing that they are now. The footage I call the Vanishing Light has a title of, This is a big one, watch till the end. Want to take a guess on how many views this one has? 112 views in 8 months. Now, I highly recommend you stick around to watch the evaluation of this one. It gets really interesting. I'm going to share what I've been learning about these seemingly simple lights in the sky that are often overshadowed by fake videos. It's probably the biggest reason why I dive into these tech evaluations, because people lose their minds over these videos that are clearly fake but have cool titles or thumbnails, and it draws them in, and people like Hollywood Scotty here, for example, aren't trying to pretend they're real. Now, if you're not interested in seeing how this one was faked, definitely jump to the chapter where we dig into the Vanishing Light. I'm willing to bet it's going to blow your mind. But first, let's really dig into this one. I do have a quick disclaimer on the number of views in this screenshot, since the time I recorded the screenshots and the time I was editing, they've gotten a lot of views since then. Alright, let's play this thing with audio so we get the full effect here.
Yo, what is this, bro? What is this?
Yeah, that sound effect for those UFOs is not working for me.
What is that, bro?
Yeah, I've never met any oil rig workers, but I don't think they say bro that much. Even people in the comments called them out for that.
What is it?
Even though this is clearly pretty well done, it's still hard to believe how many people think this is real.
That's crazy. What?
Let's check out another one of their videos. I mean, look at this. There are X-Wings literally flying, and they're being filmed. This is like, I've never seen an X-Wing not in space. Well, at least, who knows, maybe this is planet Tatooine or something. But this is actually pretty impressive if you think about it. So I wondered, how in the world did they make these? This is incredible. So I figured I'd go check out Iceman Fox 1's YouTube channel, see what they're all about. And right away, you can see they make mixed reality digital aviation videos. And if you look at the first video, it says filmed with Digital Combat Simulator. They're not trying to hide this. Obviously, my next step was to go check out Digital Combat Simulator and see what it's all about. It seems really cool if you're into like jets and war game type stuff. I mean, I've done things with simulators before where you fly planes and they can be pretty darn realistic. I mean, I now know how hard it is to fly a 747. Dropped one out of the sky by accident, but I mean, you can see with this, now I kind of get a sense for why their video with the X-Wings had the cockpit in it. I mean, you're getting some pretty intense detail, atmospheric effects and everything. I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, there's even thermal physics. I mean, this just doesn't even seem like a simulation. It seems more like a military promotional recruiting video to me. This is just so realistic. I'm actually having a hard time believing it's a simulation. Well, I don't know. This is just so... Whoa, hang on, wait a second. Back up. Let's take a look at this real quick here. Alright, right here. Okay, check that out. There we go. A flare embedded in the body of the jet. Now we know it's a simulation. Let's take a closer look at the saucer video. You can see that the contrast is off. The jets just render better than the saucers, in my opinion. And then they try and add these blurry, focus issues to try and add some sense of reality. But let's try some different color schemes here and see. Like, let's turn up the gain. Oh, sorry if that's really bright. That's intense. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd play around with inverting colors and things and seeing if there was anything obvious. The simulation software is just that good. There's no funky grain or anything that I might expect to see. And let's let them go a little bit farther see if there's any kind of difference and do the same type of thing. Bump up the gain here and get ready, bright. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of poking around with some different tools and, seeing if I can see anything obvious. I would expect to see noise. But yeah, if you look at it from closer and farther, I kind of thought that initially that their spots were about the same, the spots on the ship. But there's enough variation that I think that software just does a really good job. So it's hard to spot this. This is not AI. This is simulation. And if you look at their other UFO videos, it's clearly a common pattern where the military's following the UFO. It just because of the simulation makes it easy. So, but you can't knock it because, I mean, this guy's getting monetized by just creating these videos, and people are loving it. It looks real, so it's hard not to think, what the hell? So it's a good strategy. All right, we're finally at the point where we're going to evaluate this Vanishing Light. Now, I don't know about you, but there are no planes that are going to turn off their lights mid-flight. And even if they do, they're going to snap off. They're not going to just fade away like this does. It could be a cloud, but it sure looks like a clear night to me. And I'll try some different color schemes to see if we see a cloud, but nothing pops up. So we can zoom in here. You can see it has that flicker just like the stars do, indicating it's at a high altitude. It just slowly fades away and sort of stretches out as it goes. That's kind of interesting. Now, if we use a inverted, actually, we bump up the gain on this so we can see if there's any kind of obvious clouds or anything. There's really not. I mean, all the grain across this seems pretty legit. Now this time, let's invert the colors and see what we can see. Now, this is really interesting. I didn't expect this. The light is actually darker than the stars, so that must mean it's brighter. Now, I'm not seeing any indication of clouds anywhere, and as you watch it fade away, you can really see it stretch out. In fact, before we get into the really good stuff, let me take one more look at this. We're going to slow it down, zoom in really far, and we're going to keep it inverted. You can start seeing it fade away here. It hits this light, which was visible in the main video, but then it just continues to slowly stretch and fade. That's just what I'm seeing. So now let's get into the good stuff. While I was working on this video, I stumbled into a brand new team of people who call themselves Skywatcher. This team consists of military and scientific expertise that is second to none. Now, the sole purpose of this team carries so much weight, I need to let them explain it to you.
This project is aimed to prove what has not been proved in years past. It's to gather substantial evidence to show the American populace that there are substantial alien life and craft and everything else flying around.
What's most interesting is that the team includes individuals who fall into a new category that I just learned about called psionics. In fact, this is so intense, I'm going to let Jordan explain it directly.
My firsthand experience in what I term a psionic exploitation program between the years of 2005 and 2010, where I interfaced and worked with non-human intelligence and things like UAP directly. So this would look like things that, many people would consider, woo-woo-y, right? Like astral projection or meditation. But ultimately, what we were really investigating was how far could we stretch the bounds of human consciousness. Beyond that, how could we get human consciousness to interface directly with things like recovered materials and recovered crafts? What I can tell you from the craft and some of the different projects that we worked on directly is ultimately that they interfaced with us. What I mean by that is my consciousness could project into these craft and recovered materials and then access a suite of commands, essentially capabilities to do various things, including piloting.
If your head's not spinning from that, hold on to your hat.
So, Jake, do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has been visiting this planet?
Well, yes, I do.
And when you make that claim, Jake, how confident are you that claim is true?
I'm 100% confident that that claim is true. The reason you would have a crash recovery program to begin with, a broad crash recovery program, you wouldn't set up a program like that in order to go get exotic or non-human aircraft. So if hypothetically something ridiculous were to happen,
Yeah.
and something of exotic nature were to crash,
Yeah.
you're going to call the people that have the most experience with that.
And that is exactly how Jake Barber got involved in this. He picked up a very unusual craft and had a very unusual experience, and that's when he discovered the psionics team himself. And so, how do we bring this whole thing back to the Vanishing Light video we're evaluating? Well, it turns out this team is capable of summoning these craft. Listen to this.
How many times do you feel like you've been able to summon something in the sky?
Anytime I want.
So, Michael Batista, who had experiences since he was a teen and as a former Green Beret, is capable of summoning these craft, which oftentimes present themselves as lights in the sky, just like this. And you can see that they've been tracking these. They have special equipment that analyzes them, and if you notice, they also fade away, just like the vanishing light that we're analyzing. So that's what brings this whole thing together. In addition to that, if you check out the channel where the vanishing light came from, it's actually someone who says that she's experienced this type of thing since she was in her teens as well, just like Michael Batista. That creates a very interesting correlation between the two. So where does that put us? We have a new team of people with first-hand experience with UAPs who want to bring that knowledge to the public. They're proving they're capable of summoning these craft and then tracking what they're experiencing and documenting as much as they can to provide solid scientific evidence. As incredible as all that is, I don't want to lose track of what I believe is the most important component of all of this.
But ultimately, the story is not about piloting some UAP with your mind. This story is much more about what is consciousness?
Yeah.
Why can we interface with these things?
Now, the whole point of my tech blog is to explore technology, to document things that I'm looking into, things that I'm interested in. Rest assured, I am going to be keeping an eye on this Skywatcher team and analyzing everything that they present to us. In fact, I've already thought through the fact that they're talking about a conscious user interface. Does that mean that consciousness becomes a formal technology? I feel like there's an awful lot that we're going to learn, but I'm going to save that rabbit hole for another video. Well, I have to admit, that was a direction I didn't expect this video to take. It was really intended for me to get some practice in on DaVinci Resolve and using Fusion and brushing up on some old motion graphics skills. In fact, if you're interested in DaVinci Resolve and Fusion, I'll be documenting everything that I've learned while making this video and putting that up soon. So be sure to like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing that, or if you're interested in seeing where this new Skywatcher team takes my brain with technology. Who knows? This is also a good time to share that I've secured the domain t13e.com as a numeronym for tech-multiverse.com. Makes it a whole lot easier for you to find me if you ever want to follow me on my blog. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.